James Dorsey joins me now from Singapore, where he's a senior fellow at the Middle East Institute of the National University of Singapore. James, thanks for joining us this news hour. How has Ferdinand, thank you so much, how has Ferdinand Marcos Jr. actually managed to poll so highly for these upcoming elections?
Well, for one, he's following a president who was very popular, despite the human rights abuses, despite the authoritarian attitude that he took, and despite his many mimics. But having said that, this is something that Marcos Jr. has prepared for a very long time. And it really is, I think, testifies to two things. One, on a broader global scale, you've had several elections of authoritarian leaders, or in which authoritarian leaders have lost. The really big exception until now has been Hungary, where Orban won. And this could be the second time round that you have a major victory by what is expected to be someone who will have an authoritarian hand. The other aspect of this, of course, is that those who had staged and succeeded with the popular revolt in 1986 that overthrew Marcos's father, they've had almost 40 years to change a lot of the issues that had emerged under Marcos, and they really didn't do so. It's the same families in power. It's the same corruption. Nothing structurally has changed. And I think that is, again, something with Marcos trying to change the narrative about his father rule, something that plays into this.
Mm-hmm. Well, the Marcos family still owes about $4 billion, I believe, in unpaid taxes. It's so strange to think that this family is still so prominent and influential in the Philippines when they also owe the country so much money.
Indeed, and that's again, I think the irony of Filipino politics and the fact that there has been no real structural change in terms of power relationships. The family owes the company money. There are legal proceedings going on, and nevertheless, Marcos can stand as a candidate.
Well, who is challenging Marcos for this presidency, and do they even have a chance of winning?
The optimists will tell you that the last time round, Marcos also had a lead, and in the end, he didn't manage it. So that's what his distractors are hoping for. It's unlikely. His major distractor is the current vice president of the Philippines, and keep in mind that she was the vice president of Ferdinand Duterte, and but she is very much seen as someone who is as a much more popular touch, in the sense she doesn't rely on, or she commutes every day on her own to her office. She's never been accused of corruption, which others have, but it's going to be a really uphill battle for her.
Mm-hmm, indeed. A lot of the people who are supporting Marcos Jr. do seem to be people who are under 30, who don't remember what life was actually like under his father. Is that quite telling when it comes to the support and how they see him possibly ruling the country?
I think it is more telling, but it also is, in a sense, in line with what we've seen globally. With other words, we've seen popular support, including among the youth, for authoritarian leaders. We see that in India, for example, and various other places. So in that sense, yes, a large segment of the electorate does not have a first-hand memory of the rule of Marcos's father. But on the other hand, there is, for maybe all the wrong reasons, but nonetheless, hunger for a strong man. And Marcos, that's the fear, will be a strongman leader.
James Dorsey, really appreciate your analysis. Live to us there from Singapore. Thank you, James.